What would you do with yourself if you took a break? If you had weeks to heal, to reset, to figure out what you want to do with your life right now, how you want to design this next season, what would you do? How would you go about doing it? I've been talking about taking a sabbatical. I've been talking about taking a pause. I've been preaching it from the rooftops for years now. And this summer, I am revisiting my video diaries from when I took a sabbatical 4 years ago in 2022. And this is day 72 of my sabbatical. And whew, like timing, alignment, I feel like these next couple of entries I need to see and hear again right now. So I'm glad that I'm doing this. If you're wondering how you're going to go about a sabbatical, how you're going to take a break, I do have a lot more resources. You can find it at amypalmer.bio. I have a lot of resources around pre-retirement, taking a break, taking a sabbatical, etc., to try to figure out how to make it happen, how to make it work, and then what to do when you get there. But let's take a look at day 72. What was that all about? And what was I thinking? Let's see. Hello everyone, it's Amy coming at you live from Orange Reservoir. Talking quietly because I don't want to disturb those around me. I am on the several feet away from the walking trail. Hope everybody is having a good morning. I want to talk about 4 S's today. 4 S's. Safety, security, stability, and then the lack of those causing stress. Tell you a little story this week. The other day, Tuesday, I was having a very pleasant, very productive morning. Got a lot done off my to-do list and had time to do all the things that I had committed to doing in my morning routine and getting started for the day, etc. And when I returned from some errands, I actually did a vlog post from my car and decided to open up the sunroof to get more light in the car. And I rarely, I can probably count on one hand the number of times that I've used the sunroof. Anyway, it wouldn't close all the way. It stayed open like a little bit. No matter what I did, couldn't get it to close. There was a little bit of a pop. And I was like, oh man. And I almost immediately got a pit in my stomach. Got, that ball of nerves that I realized I had not felt in several weeks, maybe even a couple of months. So it was no longer familiar, which was kind of cool. But it was stress. I was stressed because my mind was racing. It was supposed to rain heavy that night, and I don't have a shelter to put my car in, so I was concerned about that. I knew I had to find a solution that day and had no idea where the solution would come and how much it was going to cost. And the cost part started really racing in my mind for probably somewhat obvious reasons. I don't have any real income coming in right now. So there was stress involved in that. So I did find a place to take it. I took it to a nearby Mercedes dealership. I know, not necessarily my preferred place to take it, but I needed someplace that would know how to fix it as quickly as possible. When I got there, it became, they did accommodate, they you know, talk to me quickly, which was nice. And oh, here comes the train. Oh, there's like nobody on the train. Okay, maybe they're just, just Anyway, so they were able to see me really quickly, which was nice, but they definitely made it obvious that this was probably going to need to be, this is going to be a big deal. My service advisor happened to be a woman from California, so we bonded a little bit over California. We commiserated a little bit over leaving California. And she was helping me as best as she could. And I explained that I was traveling, that I at least just needed it closed, even if not fixed. So they committed to doing that. It was still almost $400 just to get the sunroof closed. Now, mind you, I realize that this little mini rant and these obstacles are extremely privileged obstacles that I faced. But it connected to some thoughts, some learnings, etc. First of all, I immediately started to feel insecure about my car in general. For those of you who have known me for a long time, I had a Mercedes many years ago that just completely died out on me unexpectedly at about the 100,000 mile mark. This one's only around 50, so it's still pretty new. But I started to feel really, really insecure about the car and worried about the money that it was going to take to maintain it. And I'm extremely dependent on my car right now. So my little thoughts are starting to escalate into bigger and bigger and bigger thoughts. And I realized that I need a sense of security and safety and stability to minimize my stress levels. And I was trying to identify for myself what is the minimum baseline that I need to feel that. And so I won't get into all the details of where the thought process took me, but it just became clear that I've got to set up some level of security and stability around transportation. And then, the next day, I realized my checking account fell below a certain threshold, and that triggered the lack of security, safety, and stability again. Now, mind you, I planned for this, and I'm still sort of on track with what I planned for regarding spending and regarding how much I have left in my accounts and stuff like that. But it's still, being below that threshold triggered something in me. So again, it made me realize that I need to plan around that. What is it going to take for me to try to maintain that minimum threshold as best as possible? And I think I have like a lower threshold than a lot of people, and primarily because it's just me and I don't have dependents, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a little easier for me to have like a very minimal foundation to feel, safe and secure. And I'm realizing like primarily financially, but also in like ability to get around and independence and stuff like that. So that's a positive and that's a benefit that I have for sure. But I have to like identify that. And I actually used the 4 N's from the No BS program, which is the program that I'm on for weight loss right now. But I used the 4 N's to work through some of these stressful, disturbing thoughts. And the 4 N's are notice, normalize, neutralize, and next steps or actions. So I noticed that I was thinking, the thought was, I'm going to completely run out of money and be completely broke. So that's the thought. That's the triggering fear. Normalize it. Yes, when you have
no income coming in and you're making expenses, the balance is going to come down. You made advanced plans for this and you are still okay. So normalize it, neutralize it. You are safe and secure. You've got loved ones around you. The, the earth is not going to fall out from beneath you, sort of like neutralizing the thought. And then next steps or actions are, all right, let's start implementing my revenue generating plans. Let's start making sure that I'm maintaining at least that minimum threshold for security. So thank you again to Corinne Crabtree from No BS for the 4 N's, because they're not just for weight loss, they're for thought work. But just some observations I wanted to share with all of you. What is your, like, maybe those things don't cause stress. Maybe, safety, security, stability, maybe those are inherent in your world and it doesn't get shaken up. But if it does and it does cause stress, I think it is helpful not only to use the 4 N's and neutralize the thought, but to come up with a plan for what that minimum threshold is and what actions are needed, what steps you need to take to maintain that for yourself, so that you can get out there and play to your fullest potential, and take risks and be yourself and live your life, etc., etc. So hope you're all having a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Ooh, yeah. That's a timely one for me. My relationship with money. Damn. 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 Okay. So this was 4 years ago, and I definitely decided that I needed that threshold. Took me about a year and a half to find it. About a year and a half. Uh, and the way that I found it was to have a couple of clients on a retainer situation to make sure that I had like a certain amount of income coming in. And that did absolutely make a difference for me. It definitely helped with my stress level. It was interesting in the beginning when I talked about getting that pit in my stomach when my sunroof broke, and that I hadn't felt that pit in a while. And I realized that I do get that pit in the stomach, but it's not as often as it used to be by far. It's once in a great while. Now, I have been hit with it recently because I've had some unexpected high dollar costs, unexpected costs come my way or about to come my way, and navigating some stressful health stuff. I'm fine, but it's still stressful figuring it all out. So the combination of money and health, and it's intersecting because the health stuff is costing money. So unexpected financial setbacks, I guess you could say, has brought the pit back for me. So it's a nice reminder to tell myself, I have faced this before. I have faced this before on more than one occasion, and I have always figured it out. I mentioned about like worst case fear was that I was going to run out of everything, and have zero money left and not be able to take care of myself. I have had that fear before. It's never happened. I've always been able to put things in place so that it doesn't happen. And I've been damn close. I've been damn close, but I've made it happen. I've talked about this in a separate video on my Gen X Big Sister playlist on this channel, where I talked about sort of my Gen X woman money story and how I always have this mindset of just enough, and that I seem to create that reality for myself again and again and again. I think I'm going through this right now to break out of this cycle and to once and for all bust forth to the next level, because while I had the safety, stability, security of a minimum threshold of income coming in, I need to go beyond that to start preparing for my not too distant future. And yes, I've been contributing to that a little bit, but not to the level that I would want to or that I need to. And so, like, I talked about using the four N's in this video, and I think that that was a great reminder. That was a great reminder. And that's kind of what I did. I referenced this in yesterday's video. It's kind of what I did when I was journaling and I was writing out everything that was weighing me down and then let it flow to me of what I needed to do. Like, I know what I need to do. And I know that part of what I need to do financially is I want to continue to figure out how to bring costs down and minimize my monthly costs as much as possible, and I have some really strong ideas about how I can do that. And then I want to continue to figure out how to bring my revenue up and how I can generate more revenue in more ways, whether that's through corporate clients, whether that's through having more programs and offerings here online, or some combination of all of it. Like, I want a variety of streams of income. So continuing to build on that to maximize. And then the third bucket is going to be saving and investing and what that looks like at this season of my life. And I have several things that I can do in that bucket as well. So I know this theme is coming up for me for that reason, because it's, I've done the healing, I've gotten the clarity, I've rearranged my life. I'm very content with how things are proceeding. I'm more in line than I've ever been in my life. I have this next level I need to take care of. Like, I need a thicker cushion. I need to be taking care of future Amy a little more strongly. And it's kind of nice to get like a little reminder of that from past Amy. So I've made some progress and I've got a ways, I've got a ways to go. And, but I think definitely the three buckets: bringing costs down, bringing revenue up, figuring out how to save and invest more. Those those are going to be a priority for me uh, in the coming weeks, months, years. So I'll share what I'm learning about that as it unfolds and be as transparent as I possibly can be. This was day 72, I think, 72 of my sabbatical series. The sabbatical lasted an entire summer, so I think it was like 91 or 92 days all in. So I'm coming down to the end there. Like, I'm a few weeks from the end. So interesting to see how the rest of this plays out. My name is Amy Palmer. I am your Gen X big sister. This is your summer sabbatical playlist series. Let me know your thoughts. What are you going to do on your sabbatical and your break?